Eternity review. I'm also gonna do some lateral raises. Eternity was a movie I was actually a bit excited for because I saw the trailers and the plot intrigued me. It's this afterlife type scenario where basically after you die, you're in this limbo zone where you've got to decide where you want to spend eternity in the afterlife. So what the plot is there's a woman named Joan who's played by Elizabeth Olsen who has passed away and she has to decide where she wants to spend eternity. But Joan has been widowed twice. So Joan's first husband passed away in the war when they were very young, and they weren't married for a very long time. And then she remarried to Barry, who was who she grew old with and had kids with and had a very happy marriage with. And the movie actually started off with Barry dying because he choked on a pretzel, poor bugger. And the movie starts off with Barry's POV mostly. I think Barry probably is the protagonist, but basically he passes away first. He gets to the whole afterlife. We get a whole gauge of how this area works. There are people that work there kind of, and some of them are people that are working because they're waiting for a partner to pass away so they can choose someone together, or people just choose an eternity. You know, there's beach eternities, there's alcoholic eternities, there's everything eternities, right? And there's quite a lot of funny moments in this movie. Some light humor, you might say. And without giving every detail of the plot, Joan arrives in the afterlife and she's met with Barry, who she's, oh, Barry, so happy to see you. But then she sees her first husband, who we have found has been waiting here 60 or so years for her to pass away, just working as a bartender. She's like in disbelief that she's seeing him because people in this world also take the form of when they were the happiest. So they're all young and he looks super young because he died super young, but that's where everything gets kicked in motion, all right? And I feel like generally when you hear this plot, you think 3-4 options. She chooses the first husband, she chooses the second husband, she chooses neither, or it's some other random resolution, right? And what I was dreading it wasn't, I'm just gonna tell you it's not, because if this was the case, I would not even tell you to watch the movie. I was so worried the movie was gonna end with her waking up, being resuscitated or some dumb shit like that, and then we weren't even gonna get an answer. But we do get an answer in the end, okay? We do get an answer. But what happened? Some rules I haven't mentioned yet. Once you choose an eternity, you're there forever. You can't leave no matter what. They showcase very early on that people who try and leave get sent to the void. So you kind of gotta make a decision, make it right. However, they give Joan one special exception where she gets a trial period with both of the husbands. And because the husbands don't want to go to the same, like she thought, oh, can't we all go to the same one? The men say no. No throuple situation is happening here. So Barry chooses the beach land and her first husband, who I keep forgetting the name of, but he's a very handsome man. Chose like a mountain one. Both things Joan was very interested in, but they go there. She has trials with both. It's pretty, like, I feel like this movie draws you one way and then sends you the other way, back and forth. Like, I'll be honest, like, it was never really clear, or at least I didn't think it was overly obvious how it would end. It kept you guessing, which I did like. This movie is a tearjerker, all right? Throughout the movie, tears. Not even just like at a climactic point. Here, there, everywhere, tears. I cry in movies. I'm not afraid to admit that I cry in movies. One thing I thought was really good too was because they, at least Joan and Barry, they die of old age, and they keep like their mental, I guess, age when they go in this afterlife, even though they're in a young body. And especially with like Elizabeth Olsen, I thought her performance was great because you can tell she's like an old lady, but she's still in her young body. I thought it was quite a good performance. I picked up on it. Did you pick up on it? I'm about to get into some spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the entire ending, but I will talk a bit. So if you want to skip it here, I'll skip to this timestamp. Back at the start when I said, you know, we thought it was one of those 1, 2, 3 options that could happen. What would I tell you if I said multiple things happened? What? Me personally, I was pretty happy, content with the ending, but it was very bittersweet. And I feel like that would be the case for most people watching this. Throughout the movie, you really get drawn to both of the dudes because they both got their nice, charming factors. And you feel bad for the one that died young because they never really got the chance to love and have a happy life together. And on the other hand, you've got the one that you spent your whole life with only to then leave. And they both have, I guess, positive and negatives about them, but ultimately you're gonna be sad no matter who she ends up with. And I'm not gonna tell you who she does, because watch it, but towards the end of the movie, I did think it started to drag a bit, and it became obvious what was gonna happen, but I think it was a natural kind of progression. And some of the things set up earlier in the movie being like, you can't leave, blah, blah, blah. All these things, like you kind of knew they were gonna use those plot devices. It was gonna happen at some point. I really enjoyed this movie, had me crying. I wasn't disappointed. I had very high hopes. I'm not gonna say it's phenomenal, but I think it's good. So to give a TLDR, very tear-jerking, bittersweet story. If you're an emotional person, like me, it's gonna hit you a bit slow at some points because you know what's gonna happen and it's kind of delaying it. But overall, I did enjoy this movie. I'm gonna give this a Saxon Jim. 7 Saxes, point. 5, 6. 7.6 or reverse. 6, 7. by my rating scale, might look kind of low, but everything else is gonna get lower, I promise. With that being said, Sax and Jim out. Stay sexy, everyone.